We have another Tru-tone unboxing using my wife's cheese knife, so she'll be real thrilled that I'm using it to open this box. But this is a product that they just released, and it was kind of surprising to me, but I can see how this product can actually be very useful. This is the plastic bulbs, and so I picked up the classy color multicolored set, and we'll see what they look like. So I picked up some of my other colored bulbs just to compare them, and then we'll come back when it's dark and we'll light them all up, because it really matters what they look like in the dark, not really what they look like in the daytime. So these are going to be a plastic bulb, and I haven't even seen them, and if you look at them just like this, I wouldn't even know those are plastic. So that's cool. So one of the benefits of these is, I think, for people who do contract lighting, you would just put them on your house and pull them off when you're done. Oh, these are way lighter. Oh, so here's the glass version and here's the plastic version. They look the same. The bottom has like a rubber plastic piece right here. So the bottom's plastic, so it might stop some of this corrosion that I've gotten around this bulb. See how there's a plastic bottom right here? So that's not really what I was expecting. It looks to be crimped right here around the bottom too. So I know sometimes you can have trouble if you twist these right here on the glass version. I've had a few where the bottom just comes off. And so this is crimped. That might be stronger. The bulb coloring looks like it goes under this part, because here there's some color on the brass screw-in part right here. But this looks like the bulb is colored separately and then put inside of here and then crimped on. And then there's this plastic bottom piece. So that's cool. These are definitely a lot lighter than I thought. So this is a glass one, and I found this one, or this one right here, and it had a little bit of chipping right here. So if I kind of scrape, you can see that it's kind of coming off a little bit. And I think this one had a rubber gasket, and when I had them upside down, they were touching the paint and kind of ripped it. But this, let's just see. It doesn't look like I would be able to scratch that. So that's actually way different. So let's hear what it sounds like here. Here's the glass. Oh yeah, hollow. Sounds like glass, got like a ring. Then have the plastic. Oh, it sounds like plastic. It really wants to focus on these in the background. It sounds like plastic. Yeah. So these are cool. So it's interesting they made a plastic version, just because the whole concept is like to be, you know, vintage and looking, but I can see why this would really be helpful. So let's look at some of the colors real quick. I have broken bulbs around my house when I'm putting them up or dropping them, or I could use plastic in a classroom more than these big glass ones. So that's pretty cool. So look, here's the blue. Just looking at them myself, they look about the same, maybe a tad bit darker. Oh, let's look at the shape. Look at this. There's a little bit different shape. I don't know if you can tell, the glass right here is a little bit fatter. See, there's a little bit fatter. Looks like they're the same. Oh, so this is also a little bit longer. So it's a little bit thinner, a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. I couldn't tell you what is more close to like authentic vintage ones. There's the Tru-tone sign on it. So there's a difference there. They're definitely lighter, a little bit longer, not as stumpy as the glass. So now let's look at the orange. It one looks more orange. So this one definitely looks more orange. There's the bottom. So that's the bottom without corrosion. So there's this plastic piece on the bottom. I might like that. So the price came out the same for both of these, but it's still kind of, just the shipping just gets me. It's $15 for shipping for me or something around there. So I ended up paying like 50 bucks for this box, which is a lot. It's not cheap, but I believe it's the same price for the glass or the plastic. So there you can really tell the size difference, and this one has a different color to it. So here's the glass and here's the plastic. They look a little bit different. They're definitely longer. So let's do the white. You know, I may have used these outside White looks about the same. This one looks a little faded. This is like a white, but I could have used this outside. I haven't had issues with my classy color ones fading, so that's not really a problem that I've had. So I know some people have with the jewel tone, they kind of fade a little bit, but my classic colors, I haven't had any issues. There's a little bit more of an off-white and a little bit more white there. Green, I don't have a big green with me because they're all up on my house right now. Green looks about the same. So there's the difference of a C9 plastic, and then here's a C7 jewel tone. These are called Dura-Bulbs, so these are the new Dura-Bulbs by Tru-tone. And then here's red. So there's the two reds next to each other. Oh, there's definitely some darker on this big one. I know there's been a few variations of red, so I don't know exactly what kind of red I have. So there's a little gap right here. If you see right there. Looks, you know, it's not a bad thing, but you can tell that's kind of like a mold. So let's look closely just to see. I don't see a mold. Oh yeah, right at the top. So there's where the mold, there's like a little spot right here at the top where, I don't know how close I can get, where there's a mold, where they molded it. See if I can see those on the colors. I don't think there's a mold line down the side. That one, yeah, there's a little spot right there. So I saw a line right here, but that's just my tripod. They're so much lighter. But actually, what's really important is how they look at night. So let's come back in a little bit once it gets dark, and we'll see how they look. They definitely look different. They're longer and they're thinner, and they have the plastic part of the bottom, which I think I could really like because that's hopefully will stop some of the corrosion that we have. So if you're going to be a company that has lights on year round, or if you're a light company that installs Christmas lights for the season and you want to put them all up, and you at the end of the year you just pull them off, put them in a big trash can for the year, doesn't look like these are going to break or scratch. So I'll put up some of the information that they say about what kind of plastic it is. But let's come back when it's dark and see how they look. All right, here are the glass versions of the Classy Color by Tru-tone. I was able to find a C9 version of each one, so I'm just going to put in a plastic Dura-Bulb for each color, and we're going to put it in, and we'll see what it looks like. That's a little bit like cloudier. I don't know how to say it. And there's the blue. That looks about the same. Not too different right there. Next we have orange. And then we'll look at each color individually. Orange, that looks about the same. Maybe a little bit brighter. But now that they're both on camera, you can see. Here's red. That looks about the same. You can kind of tell how these are taller than these. And green. Let's see what green looks like. Green. Screw it in. Oh, green looks darker. So you can kind of tell it's kind of hidden, but the green just looks darker. That's the one that probably stands out the most to me. White looks good. They all look good. And now let's just look at each color individually. So let's take these out. And these are the plastic Dura-Bulbs by Tru-tone. All right, let's start with orange. Here's the orange glass bulb, and here's the orange plastic bulb. So you can really see the size difference right here. See how this one is a little bit shorter, definitely taller and narrower. It looks a little bit darker. Trying to see how the camera will pick it up. But maybe at the end it's a little bit darker at the top. See, there's a little bit less right here, maybe a little bit more right there. But color-wise, even for my eyes, it looks about the same. But you know, there's probably a little bit more larger of a bright spot on the shorter bulb. So now, let's look at blue. All right, there's the glass blue, and here's the blue Dura-Bulb. Same kind of thing. A little bit more of a dark spot. The bright spot's a little bit longer on here. Color-wise, maybe a little bit darker on the plastic Dura-Bulb. I mean, but that's kind of just being picky. There's a little bit of the line right here. That just might be the angle that I'm at for the inside of the bulb. But there's the bulb, see, a little bit smaller. Full brightness to about here, full brightness to maybe about there. So seems like the longer bulb's having a little bit of trouble getting the light all the way to the top. And on this one you can kind of tell, see, here's the little spot where it was put together, and there's a little white spot right there on the end. This one doesn't have it, so that's something to think about. There's a little spot. I'll come back to that when I move my camera and show you from the top, but you can see the little spot where the mold was right there. All right, now let's go to red. There's the red glass, and here's the red plastic. That one's not as bad at all. So that one's pretty consistent from bottom to top, as you can see. I don't see the white spot on the top on that one. Those look about the same, just kind of the bulb difference a little bit. Not a huge difference, so that one's pretty spot on. And I'm just comparing them to Tru-tone. So I'm not comparing them to an older incandescent, I'm just comparing them to each other. Now let's look at green. So there's the green glass. This is the one that stood out the most to me, and here's the green Dura-Bulb. Yeah. See, this one's definitely greener looking. It almost starts to make this look a little bit teal. There's a little bit of a white spot on the top where I assume the mold is. Color-wise, you can see it goes all the way up through, but this one definitely looks greener. So here's the plastic Dura-Bulb, and then the classic glass version. And now for the last one, which is a little bit different, is white. All right, there's the glass white, and here's the Dura-Bulb white. So even on camera and in person, it looks a little bit, I don't know how to say it, less bright, maybe fade, a little more fade. It still looks good. It has that yellow tone to it, maybe a little bit more yellow, maybe that's what it is. This one you can really, from the top, see the white mold. I'll go to the top right here and we'll look at all of these real quick just to see how they look. But yeah, here's the white. A little bit more white on this, a little bit more on the yellow side. Let's look at them all from the top down and see how they look if the bulbs are facing at us. All right, here we have looking straight down. As you can see, there's a little spot here. Orange isn't too bad. The white definitely stands out. Red, there's almost no spot. And then green, there's a little bit. So you can tell where, this had to be where they molded these together. If we turn it up a little bit. So still kind of hard to see. That blue one definitely sticks out the most, I think, out of all of them. So I opened up to let a little bit more light in. But there you go. Let's look how they look next to the glass real quick, because that's kind of what we're comparing. Here's a green. Did I break it? Nope, still works. There's something shaking in there. Orange, red, and white. So here's what they all look like from the top. Actually, this white is a little bit better because it's not as bright. It kind of fills in with the rest of the colors a little bit better. This one seems to really kind of overdo the orange and red on that side a little bit. So actually, that white might be better, but you can see there's the white spot on top. That's probably the biggest thing that lets me realize that they're plastic, besides the fact that they weigh less. But color-wise, I mean, they're probably like 95% of the original Tru-tone colors. Blue looks really good. They all look really good from this angle. So I guess the biggest part was that sometimes the light at the top would just be a little bit darker. If they were for my house, I still might go glass because I can treat them gentle on my house. But if I'm going to put these on someone else's house, let's say I have a business where I put up Christmas lights, and I talk to a lot of people who have Christmas light businesses, and they basically put the lights on, put them up, and at the end of the year, they just pull them off, roll them all up, maybe throw them in a trash can, and then put them back on the house the next year. I could see where the plastic bulbs would definitely help them. So that's like opening up a whole new group of people who would buy Tru-tone bulbs, because they weren't going to buy glass bulbs because you have to treat them more gentle than what I would have to with my house because I can. I think it's still probably nice if I'm going to have them up all year, then the plastic would be better because according to the box, they're shatterproof, color fast, weather tight. So they are shatterproof, and I would think because the plastic is actually colored that they would last longer. I'll put what type of plastic it is right here. I can find it on the website, I'm sure. But because the price is about the same, like I said, for my house, I'd probably go with glass because I can treat it more gentle. But if I'm going to put it somewhere where it could break, then the plastic actually seems like a really good idea. I didn't think this would be their next product they released. I thought it would be twinkle lights, which I know are coming. I've seen online already, or mini lights, which I've seen some videos of. So hopefully I can find some of those and they'll come out this year. We'll see. But thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.